Greetings, everyone. This is Judge coming to you once again with another video perspective. Now, you have to forgive me. My eyes are red right now because where I am, it is late in the morning, and I'm talking super late, like almost 2 a.m. where I am. But I wanted to do a video anyway because this is what I do. Duty calls, right? So, as I've been going in my understanding the Rashi or the Zodiac sign series, tonight I'm going to be talking about the Simha Rasi, or as we popularly known as the Leo Zodiac sign. As I've said in all of the series, I come with the sidereal placement based on the ephemeris calendar. So, what does that mean if you have a Leo placement in your chart? If you're born between August 17th to September 16th, that will place your sun, your natal sun, in the Leo Rashi or Simha sign. As in the West, they're mainly known as the tropical Western placements. So that's somewhere around July 22nd to August 21st, somewhere around that time. Again, this is the Vedic sidereal ephemeral placement. We're talking about mid-August to mid-September. Follow me on that. So August 17th to September 16th is the sidereal sun placement of Simha. Now, growing up, I have a lot of maternal family members that claim to be Leo signs. So, if you're watching this, and if you're born before the day of August 17th, you're not a Leo sun. You are a Cancer sun. So if you think you're royal, kingly, queenly, no, you're more nurturing, doting, and caring. But anything between August 17th and September 16th, that's your Leo sign. Now that we got that squared away, what does it mean to have a Leo placement? Leo is ruled by the sun itself. When it comes to the two signs of Cancer and Leo, they're the main rulers because they're grahas, or they're planets, the sun and moon that rules. They're the only two that do not go retrograde. And they're the only two that are closer to this terrestrial plane, which is the earth. That's why they're the king and queen of our natal chart. Everything else that goes from Mercury all the way to Saturn, they retrograde. So mainly your Leo placement and your Cancer placement, that represents the essence of who we are. So not only am I going to be covering if you are Leo ascendant or Leo sun, we all have Leo. As I've mentioned in this series, I'm going to be covering what Leo means to you. All 12 signs, everyone. All 12 signs. How it applies to your life. So I'm going to start with Leo ascendant. If this is your placement, Leo ascendant natives are born with a sense of entitlement. It's not that you're spoiled. You know your purpose here. Because anybody born with a Leo placement, you're supposed to learn leadership. You are a born leader. And it doesn't matter the birth order, doesn't matter if you're adopted, fostered, or an only child. You will be a leader in this life, and you need to embrace it and accept it. Because if you don't, you will not fulfill your purpose. With that being said, your appearance, you may tend to have hair that hangs over your forehead like a mane of a lion. You may have full lips because lions have defined lips, in case you haven't noticed. Also, another thing about Leo ascendants, if you pay attention to how they've grown up, they weren't as close to their parents as you realize. If you have the same gender as a Leo ascendant, you may find yourself in competition with that parent. So if you're a Leo and you're born as a male, the typical nature of lions, they throw their cubs off of a cliff and they would raise only the ones that climb back up. So just know, if you are a Leo and with the same gender parent, you're going to have challenges. They're going to want to see how strong you are to be raised as a king or a queen one day. So if you are a Leo ascendant, just know that you are a born leader and you have to embrace that or your purpose will not be fulfilled. Now, if your Leo is in the second house, this means that you are a Cancer ascendant. Now, why would Leo be in the second house of a Cancer? Well, the second house is the house of speech. It's your face. It's your family. It's your earnings or your savings. It's the food you eat. Cancers eat regally. They have good table etiquette. They speak as if they have good manners. This is why Leo's in the second house of Cancer. If you have a benefic placement in this house, i.e. the moon, don't be surprised if you have a sweet voice or you could become a singer. Everything that you do, if Leo's in the second house, this also means family, by the way. You're going to want to expect royalty in your family. Because in the second house, you're going to want to make an impression as far as your family is concerned. You're going to want to be born in nice royal things. So anybody that's a Cancer ascendant, your family is well respected, well known. There's nothing poor about you if you're a Cancer ascendant. So keep that in mind, Cancer natives. Leo in the second house, you take pride in your family. You take pride in where you come from. And you boast and brag about the type of money you make and what you do for a living. Leo in the third house, this is the house of communications, co-borns or siblings, your efforts, perseverance, bravery, penmanship, local community and neighbors. This is for Gemini, the Mithuna Rasi. So why is Leo in the third house of Gemini? Well, Gemini naturally is the third house. So when Geminis convey a speech, they're going to be the best at it. They want to be known as the leaders of communications. That's why that third house Leo is there. When it comes to your brothers and sisters, Gemini ascendants, you tend not to like them because they will come off pompous, bougie, uppity, sedity, the whole 9 yards. So wherever you are in the birth order, Geminis, these are your siblings. They come off as if they're all of that, as they would say. But when it comes to your communications, they would say, did you go to college? Wow, you speak eloquently. Look, oh, you got nice penmanship. I like who you are. And Geminis like to stay in communities to where they can be praised. That's why they love their neighbors. So your third house, Gemini ascendants, you want your neighbors to know you got it going on. And that's no lie, because you're all about local communities. So I will embrace that, Geminis, as Leo is your third house. And wherever your sun placement is that rules your third house, what you write about, what you discuss, what you gossip, wherever that sun is, that's where you're going to take pride. But also keep warning, your third house lord, the sun, is going to burn or combust anything it touches. So that means your ego is also their third house for Gemini natives. Keep that in mind. Sometimes people think you talk too much or you hyperbolize everything. Now, if Leo is in your fourth house, this is a Kendra placement. It's the house of real estate, conveyances or vehicles, happiness, ancestral land, your parents, but namely your mother, early education, your last life before you took this one. This is for the Taurus or the Vrishabha ascendants. So for Tauran natives, why would Leo be here in this house? Again, Leo represents leadership, royalty, pride, ego, self-esteem, all of those things. Well, Taurans take pride in where they live. You want a nice house. You want a regal house. Leo also rules creativity, self-expression. So if you were to go to a house of a Taurus ascendant person, I guarantee you it'll be pristine. You will see decorations, furnishings that are very exalted, uplifting, impressive. They will drive a car that's of a luxury brand. They love golden colors surrounding their home. Their parents are revered. That's why Taurans are so conservative. That's why they're so put together, because of who they were raised by. The sun rules their fourth house. So that means their parents are in authoritative positions, or their mother mainly was like the queen of the household. So Taurans learned that behavior from whom they were sired by. If you are a Tauran, and wherever your sun is, that's where you will have your real estate. So keep that in mind. That's why Taurans have Leo in the fourth house, because you are leaders at home. Taurans don't like to move around a lot. They like to stay put somewhere on a homestead, settlement, or a ranch. Taurans aren't hard to find, but when you find them, you will be impressed with what you see, because that's where a Taurus takes pride. That's where the sun rules. So think about that, Tauran natives, as your fourth house is where you are mainly respected as a leader, where you can express yourself. Now, if Leo is your fifth house, this is a Trikona placement, or a trine, as you would say. This is a house where you could be yourself. Creativity, self-expression. This is naturally the fifth house of Leo. So that means this is for the Simha Rasi, or the Aries zodiac sign ascendants. So what does it mean for an Aries to have Leo in the fifth house? Well, Arians, they're purpose-driven. And what they need to fulfill that purpose is an idea. Some way that they can express that self. So what does that mean? This is the house of creativity, self-expression, progeny, creative arts, speculative gains. And this is what an Aries need. Their trinal placement is what's going to lead them into the world to do greater things. So Aries, Leo in the fifth house means you're willing to take a gamble. And that Leo sun energy will support it. Say, for example, you go to Vegas or Oklahoma, New Orleans, Biloxi, where the casinos are. People will adore you, and they will not judge you for doing those things because your Leo is there. They will edge you on. You will feel like a king or a queen when you win. This is also the house of children. So when it comes to Leo children, you take pride in your offspring. That's what it means. So one thing I like to look at when it comes to Aries ascendants, don't feel ashamed for bragging, because that's what Aries do. They brag. You're supposed to. That's why I love Vedic astrology so much, because this is who you are. And if anybody judge you for being different, then they're incompatible to your soul's journey. So with Leo in the 5th house, you take pride in your children. Your children also become leaders because the sun rules that house. You're normally the leader in the creative department or the creative field. Also, when it comes to your heart, watch your heart, Aries ascendants, because the 5th house is ruled by the heart. So there could be some tendencies for hypertension or high blood pressure based on the planets that are in your 5th house or where your 5th house lord, the sun, is. So watch your blood pressure, have fun, be as creative as you can, and own it. And raise your children to be leaders because they are the future for you. Now, for the Simha Rasi ascendants or Pisces, Leo's in your 6th house. This is the area of obstruction, challenge, day-to-day grind, minuscule duties that no one wants to do, acts of service, the house of pets, small animals, diseases, competition, naturally the sign of Virgo. So, with Pisces, they want to be creative when it comes to all those things. They don't take work seriously. They don't care for the day-to-day grind. But if they have to, they're going to be expressive as they can with it because Pisces don't have time for that. They're the final sign. They've been through all of the signs and doing those things is just not their forte. They're more spiritually inclined. They're so clairvoyant in the oracle. And Leo being in that house, Pisces are just going to do whatever they can to make the best of it and be creative. As a matter of fact, Pisces will become leaders in the fields of service like nursing, doctors, engineering. If they have to, they'll make the best of it. They want to just have fun. So if Leo is your 6th house for Pisces, when you're at work, just have a nonchalant attitude because I could detect a Pisces mile away at work. They talk, they chat, they're aloof, their mind goes off into another place. But that's okay because that's who you are. And whatever sign is your 6th house, that's your challenge. That's just one sign you can defeat. And being a leader of minuscule things is just not what a Pisces is cut out to do. But if you were to master your 6th house, you wouldn't believe what abilities a Pisces would have. There are remedies for that, but that's for another day and another video. So, moving on to the subsequent sign of the 7th house. With Leo in the 7th house, this is for the Kumbha Rashi or the Aquarius ascendant natives. 7th house is the balance. It's the yin to your yang. Whatever you are in the ascendant, the 7th house is everything opposite to that. It's your foil. It's the house of sexual desires. It's the house of marriage, business, partnerships, foreign things, and others, all of the above. Well, the 1st house is selfishness. 7th house is selflessness. With Leo being here, everybody around you are leaders when it comes to being creative, being business savvy. You will marry somebody who has a creative bent, more self-absorbed in a way, almost to the point of overt narcissism. To an Aquarius ascendant, they detest that because Aquarians are for the people. They're the humanitarian. They're naturally the 11th house. They're the big brother's watching sign. Aquarians are accomplished in nature, and now they want to share the wealth. Aquarius is like an old veteran that refuses to retire and still want to be out in the work field, on the war plane. They're all about sacrificing for the greater good. They want everybody to make it to the top. But with Leo in your 7th house, they would say, would you dress yourself up? Why are you always trying to be there for everybody? Can't you be there for yourself for once? Aquarians don't know anything about that. They don't have time for that. They're too idealistic. That's why sometimes Aquarians don't like Leos, because they think Leos are solipsistic or absorbed in their own mind. But that's not necessarily the case. Leo is what balances out the Aquarius. If an Aquarius don't have, let's just say a female Aquarius, she naturally looks pretty. Pretty much raw face, no makeup, not dressed up in clothes. A Leo would person say, you look pretty. So pretty, you should go out shopping. Aquarius would say, what? I don't need all of that. I got too many people to help. But a Leo would say, look in the mirror. Do you see what I see? Aquarius say, I never paid attention to that. So when it comes to Leo in the 7th house, they will bring out those lovely or handsome features in an Aquarius man or woman. And that's okay. Learn from somebody that's totally opposite from you. You would be amazed what a Leo can offer in Aquarius. Y'all don't have to fight each other. Yes, Leos are more self-absorbed. The world revolves around them. But imagine if an Aquarius adopted a little bit of that from their 7th house. You'll be amazed. You'll be that lovely looking scientist with a fashion sense. But going on. Leo in the 8th house. Leo in the 8th house for the Makara Rashis, or the Capricorn ascendants. 8th house is the house of sex, rebirth, transformation, taxes, joint assets, your in-laws' family, your partner's money, or the assets of your business. It's also the house of scandal, humiliation, torture, accidents, the occult. So what does this mean for the Capricorn or the Makara Rashi ascendants? With that Leo energy being there, you want to ascertain nobody touches your things without a fight. When it comes to your taxes, Capricorns know the game. You guys know the game. You know the 8th house so much, you're going to be clever and creative and witty with it. Because Leo is where you have, fun. Imagine having fun in a horror house. That's a Capricorn, because they're so melancholic. They're so at the top. They got their life so put together. Capricorns would laugh if you took them to a haunted mansion, because they don't believe in that. So if you're watching a horror movie with a Capricorn, watch their reactions. Instead of being spooked and scared and have jump frights and everything, they're going to say, that was so fake. I saw that coming a mile away. This movie's so predictable. This is insulting my intelligence. That's how they are about the 8th house. They're not surprised if somebody dies. A Capricorn would say, what they die of? Obesity. I told them to lay off the honey buns. It's like y'all would laugh at people's misery because you told them in foresight what to do. You're great at taxes. Again, so great at taxes, it's fun to you. You laugh. You're leaders when it comes to this. I guarantee you, if you had a career as an accountant, a career as a detective, you be the life of the party. That's where Capricorns have fun. Even when it comes to sex, Capricorns get creative. They may be stoic, stern, resolved, and disciplined on the outside. But in their occult life, they laugh at danger. They laugh at sex. It's hard for them to be pleased because it's a joke to them and they would have fun. So you Capricorns, yeah, you're at the top. Your life is all about seriousness and everything, but nothing scares you. That's where you have fun. Not afraid of scandal because I say, I got nothing to hide. Yeah, I cheated. And I'll tell you how. And I'm going to make you laugh how I cheated. That's how it goes. Leo in the ninth house. If Leo's is your ninth house, you are a Sagittarius or a Danas Rashi ascendant. Again, this is a trine. This is a trine Trakona placement. It is the final blessings of the first, fifth, and ninth house. For Sagittarians, Leo, your ninth house, you get creative with your education, your higher education. Your father is your pride and joy. Your father is a man's man. That's why you're so confident and so loose as a Sagittarius native. This is also the house of travel, and I mean frequent long-distance travels. The house of higher learning, post-grad educations. This is naturally the house of Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter. And the sun has an affinity for the guru. So what does that mean if you put Leo in your ninth house? I've already mentioned that your father's like a king, a man's man, a real alpha, take charge. But your education, you have fun in debates. You challenge your professors. You challenge your peers. You become a Rhodes Scholar. And you have fun. You're creative doing it. There's not one thing a Sagittarian will not debate and have fun with it. That's where you live. So Sagittarians, wherever your sun placement is, take pride and have fun in that. That's where you would become a PhD or a doctorate at anything. This is the house of blessings. It's Dharma. If you're married, bountiful things awaits the Sagittarius, Donna's native. The sun takes pride there. However, I would advise to be careful with your hip area because the ninth house rules the hips. The sun burns whatever it touches. So you may have hip problems. I would see a chiropractor if that's the case. But I'm not a physicist or anything. I'm adept in medical astrology as well, so I just want to throw that nugget in there. Leo in your 10th house. This is for the Varishaka Rashi, or the Scorpio. Here's what this means. Scorpio is the occult, powerful, naturally 8th house sign. Scorpios don't fear danger because they are dangerous. But the 10th house is the apex of your chart. It's the highest point where the sun shines. It's the only area where the sun doesn't cast a shadow. Born around noon hour, if your sun is in the 10th house. But since Leo is here, 10th house is authority, your prime, your public status, how the world sees you. It's your duty being at play. When it comes to Scorpios, they want power. And once they have power, they want it to be shown in its light. Scorpios will become great snipers because that's naturally the introverted sign of Mars. Mars and the sun are friends. It's the king and the general, or the warrior, the soldier. If you put Leo in the 10th house, Scorpios will finally have that opportunity to express what's in the dark to come to light. Scorpios aren't like vampires. they're more like the hybrid type to where a vampire can dwell in the day. For example, Marvel Comics Blade. He would be an example of a Leo in the 10th house because he's a Scorpio ascendant. They have the power of the darkness, but when they have the opportunity to fulfill their duty, they're going to bring it to the light. So if you're in a government position or a political position, a lot of Scorpios would be up there because they know a lot of things we're not supposed to know. So if they were to have a platform, or if they were to have planets placed in the highest Kendra, you best believe Scorpios are going to expose it because they're the house of scandal. They're the sign of secrets. So if you ever put a Scorpio in a position of power, expect some ugly, nasty truths to come out. Now for the Tulo Rashis, or the Libra ascendants, Leo is in your 11th house. This is the house of gains, hope, wishes, and dreams coming true. Gains that are unearned. Blessings that are entitled to you. It's the house of the elder sibling. It's the house of your father's siblings. It's also the house to where is mainly encompassed by a lot of celebrities. With Leo here, imagine how it would be having fun with unearned gains. It's also the house of nepotism. And Libras are very fair. They're fair. They don't take sides. And when you don't take sides, anybody will pour into your bosoms. I also consider the 11th house the house of the politician, because everything is given to them. They're only in position because of donations and how they express to the community or the public. So when you put Leo in the 11th house for a Libra ascendant, this is ruled by the sun, you become leaders in events to where you would have to just express how easily I've earned it by being nice to people or being fair or unconventional. It's the only area where Libra can really express themselves and have fun. A lot of Librans also take on adopted children because this is 11th house is also the house of other people's children. This is also the house of friendships. It's the natural placement of the Aquarius. So this is where Librans become very idealistic. They love receiving other people's money and they make the best of it. So as a Libra ascendant, you're good to other people. You're good to children that aren't yours. You also make the greatest step-parents because you don't mind taking on somebody else's responsibilities because you're not wired that way. You take ownership for everything. And a lot of times Librans are the elder siblings most of the times because your son is there. As being the oldest or somewhere higher in the birth order, you don't criticize as much because you've been there when your parents didn't have much. And the way you look at your other siblings, you know what's best for them, even though they may disagree with you otherwise. So Leo in the 11th house for Librans. You're very creative when it comes to public speaking. And you're also very philanthropic. Your blessings as the elder brother or the sister to everyone. And the best friend we can always have. And finally, our last stop is with the Kanya Rashis, or the Virgo ascendants. Leo is in your 12th house. This is your shadow. 12th house is the is the garbage can. It's the house of letting go and letting God. It's the house of places you've never been, foreign lands, anything foreign. As a matter of fact, if you go down the street and it's a house you've never seen before, that's considered foreign. So 12th house is all things foreign. I wouldn't necessarily say spiritual, because the 9th house is spiritual, mainly towards religion. But this is more otherworldly, spiritual for the 12th house. This is also the house of legacy. So with Leo being here in the 12th house for a Virgo or a Kanya ascendant, your leadership is not seen to anyone. What that means, Virgos don't have time for leadership. But deep down inside, people can see that leadership. Whatever your 12th house is, that native cannot see that in them. Virgos, they don't have time for that. They work, they clean, they serve, they protect. They do all the minuscule jobs no one else wants to do. When you see a busboy, that's Virgo energy. If you see somebody brushing their teeth, that's Virgo energy. Or somebody folding towels or stocking shelves at a grocery store, that's Virgo energy. And they're just here to do those jobs. They major in the minors. They get excited off of doing boring things. And when others see you, they see that 12th house energy. They said, this person is really rocking it. And Leo said, oh, this is nothing. I do this on a regular. No, you should really be in a position of leadership doing these things that no one else wants to touch. So don't be surprised if a Virgo ascendant wind up taking a leadership role that no one else wants to do. That's scary or unconventional, i.e. a warden, a principal, a prosecutor, a judge. These are 12th house positions because it's in the shadows. When it comes to the occult, everybody knows presidents of any company aren't calling the shots. There's some mastermind behind the scenes, like the leader of a mafia group that's calling the shots. That's where a Virgo feels as if they're a leader. It's like the Wizard of Oz. They lead behind the scenes. And that's how you could sum it up. Virgos are covert leaders. They just don't see it, but others do. But everyone, this is Simha Rasi. Everybody has Leo in their chart. It's not just for Leo ascendants. Everybody has Leo in some aspect. I appreciate you spending time with me. And in order to help me and support me, like and subscribe to Judge's Vedic Perspective. And as usual, as I always say, the most interesting person in the world is you. And don't take life so seriously, because our soul is only here to take care of business. Namaste, everyone. Be blessed. Until next time.